If you have an e-bike and you want to do some primitive camping, one of the things that you're interested in is how many times can you recharge the battery if you have one of these power stations? Well, we're going to check that out in this video because I'm going to do a rehearsal. One of the things I learned in the Army before you do a big operation is you got to do a rehearsal to make sure that you've got everything lined up and everything is going to go correctly. Well, I'm looking at doing a 3-day e-bike trip on the New River north of Galax, Virginia. And it's going to be a primitive campsite in that while I can park my truck there, there will not be any electrical hookups. So the only option for me to recharge my battery at the end of each day is to use my Bluetti EB70S power station. But what I'm unsure of right now is the math in terms of how many charges can I get out of this into my 15 amp hour battery, because I'm uncertain about what the battery charger that I'll use between the EBS70 and my e-bike is going to consume in terms of the available power. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on a long bike ride tomorrow and go do some shark fishing. And then at the end of that ride, I'm going to come back and I'm going to recharge my battery using the EBS70S. Because one of the things I want to think about is, should I take advantage of the upgrade program that Bluetti has going on right now, where I can turn this in and then upgrade to a more capable and powerful model. Here I am, I'm at the beach. I expect to put about 15 miles on my e-bike today, which should draw down the battery quite a bit. So to make sure I was fully topped off on the Bluetti, I charged it in the car, and I'll show you right here. One of the great things about this Bluetti system is that it comes with an adapter so you can charge it while you're driving. And let's see how we're doing here. Looks like I'm topping off, almost done. Sucking in about 20 watts right now. Time to get moving. Maybe I'll catch a shark today. Let's see. Been here about an hour so far. No real action. I think we may have to think about moving someplace, because there's clearly nothing out here in front of us. We're at the tip of Bald Head Island. This is usually a pretty good place for a lot of things, because it's where the river dumps in and then you have the ocean over here. Well, we'll keep trying. We had a good day on the beach, and you can see that I've got 50% left on the battery. Let's see how the Bluetti takes care of that to simulate a primitive campsite. I'm all set up. I've got everything plugged into my e-bike battery. The charger is on, and it looks like it's pulling out 163 watts. I've completed charging. It's showing green. But over here on the Bluetti, it looks like I have totally drained it to fill 1/2 the capacity of my battery. Is it time for an upgrade? Well, let's talk about the upgrade program that's going on right now. Those were interesting results on the charge. So now I've got to decide, do I want to upgrade or not? So here's what the current upgrade program is. The upgrade program is pretty simple. If you've got an EB55, an EB70, or an EB70S, you can turn that in for credit against another Bluetti product. Participating in the upgrade requires that you ship your existing unit back to Bluetti, but they will pay the shipping costs. And if you have an EB55, you will get a credit of up to $190. On the EB70 or 70S, you can get a credit up to $240. I've got to be frank up front, the upgrade options to something that has more power, they're not inexpensive. So you've got to balance whether you need that additional capability, or you can use solar power, your vehicle, or whatever on your existing unit. Now, whether you do that depends on how much capacity you need when you're doing camping, or like I was, the e-bike camping where I needed to recharge my e-bike. Let's talk about the first upgrade option to something with a considerable amount of power, and that's the AC200P. It's got a 2000 watt pure sine waves inverter, with 4,800 watt of surge. It's got a capacity of 2,000 watt hours, which is huge. I would never need anything else over many days to recharge my e-bike, but that does come at a price. Right now it's on sale for $1,299, but it normally goes for $1,659. So if you participate in the upgrade program, you can save a significant amount of money. Get it down to just over $1,000 if you get the full credit on your EBS70 or 70S. Now, like my EBS70S, it's got the same 7 ways to recharge. AC, solar, you can do it off your car, you can do it off a generator, even off a lead acid battery, and of course it supports dual AC or AC plus solar as different ways to charge it. In fact, it'll suck in 700 watts just off a solar panel. Now granted, that's a pretty big array, but it'll do it if you need it. It'll suck in 1100 watts if you use fast dual charging using solar plus AC simultaneously. So you can get it back up to speed fairly quickly, but that requires AC and you may not have that available. Let's look at the other upgrade option, which has more capability but is also more expensive. As you would expect, the AC200 Max has more capability and unfortunately is more expensive than the AC200P. It runs right now on sale for $1,859 and is normally $1,959. But it's got 2,048 watt hours of capacity and can output 2,200 watts, which is a heck of a lot, and it will surge up to 4,800 watts. You know, it is a lithium battery like all these are, and it's got 3,500 life cycles at an 80% charge. And it is expandable with a unit that I'll talk about here in a minute to bump the capacity up to 6,144 watt hours. Like the AC200P, it's got 7 different ways you can recharge it. It's got my beloved car charger and solar, and you also can charge it off a generator, off a lead battery. Who'd want to do that? But you can. Or dual AC and AC plus solar. It's got a 900 watt max input using solar, and that's a pretty huge array of solar panels when you think about it. And if you double it up with AC, you can get 1,400 watts of input, which would recharge it fairly quickly. If you need even more power and capacity, you can buy the B230 expansion battery, and it has another 2,048 watt hours of capacity. So it's just amazing. And on that unit itself, you add additional output ports because it's got a 100 watt USB-C as well as a 12 volt 10 amp car output with a couple USB-A ports. So you've got all these options to increase your power. It's really just up to you to decide what you need and, quite frankly, what you can afford. But in this day and age, with power outages and things like that, you really need to have some type of backup power for your home. You know, here in Wilmington, North Carolina, the power was out for 7 days a couple of years ago with Hurricane Florence. And that's why I'm glad I've got the solar panel array to go with my EBS70, so at least I can keep the fan and the lights on. Anyway, it's up to you to think about it. You do have the option to get that credit on the upgrade program, and if you're looking for a power solution, I urge you to consider this.